2022 has certainly been quite the wild ride when it comes to movies. They range from great to spectacularly bad. How the hell could they make this? What the hell were they thinking? So many great movies over here. Why can't you be more like these movies over here? What the hell is wrong with you, Hollywood? What is with you people? What do you mean, you people? Sorry, Hulk Hogan from Bash at the Beach 1996 overtook my mind for a second. Just from Bash at the Beach. Thankfully, if you're a non-wrestling fan, you have no goddamn idea what that means. But there have also been movies that have been in the middle, such as The Word of Jimmy Eat World. I bet they are absolutely happy that they're in the middle. That's all right. Everything will be all right. But there have been so many other movies that surprised us, either by being very entertaining or by being so goddamn great and exceeding our expectations. And then there are others that basically took our expectations where they had all the hype in the world. We were so goddamn excited and they said, ha, 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 fuck your expectations, ha, 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 expectations going down into the dirt because Hollywood will get their money one way or another, even if they churn out disappointing shit. Anyway, I'm John Redland with my top 10 most disappointing movies of 2022 list with some honorable mentions. Let me know your most disappointing movies in the comments, please. Full reviews of these are on the Real Honest Movie Reviews playlist. So, yeah, there's just going to be tidbit stuff here, and I've seen a lot of movies. A lot of movies. I saw 138 in 2020, smash that record, and I saw 78 in 2021. I decided, oh, hell with it, I'm just going to try to beat both those numbers put together. I won't quite do that, but I'm probably going to be close to 200 by the end of the year. So it's going to be really interesting to do a favorite and least favorite movies of the year list and horror movies and all that. But let's crack on with this. So here's the criteria, basically. I had expectations going in where I wanted to see if it would either match the original or be entertaining. Oh, this was said to be really goddamn good by the critics. Or, oh, I really like these people, and it ended up being really, really bad or shit. So, let's go with the honorable mentions. Goodnight Mommy, a remake of a movie that wasn't all that great to begin with, but at least had heart. And this wasted Naomi Watts. And I could watch Naomi Watts for hours, honestly. She's a great actress, and she's gorgeous. This was terrible. And any of the twists they tried to have or any of the tweaks they tried to have to the formula didn't end up working all that well. DC League of Super Pets. Okay, I didn't have really high expectations or any expectations for this, and this movie ended up being kind of aggressively boring. One of the many movies that Rock the Dwayne Johnson has done, and while he's getting paid millions of dollars to do stuff, let's be honest, maybe Rock is just kind of one note when it comes to this stuff. I may be revisiting Rock the Dwayne Johnson later in the list. Hocus Pocus 2. Okay, the first Hocus Pocus wasn't great, but was entertaining and at least enough of a classic. Hocus Pocus 2 was just churned out, commercialized garbage. I mean, this was really, really bad. Brought back the 3 original actresses. They tried to do stuff, and it just ended up being really, really shit. Elvis. Look, the guy that played Elvis is fine. Tom Hanks is fine. I'm sorry, this movie was not good. I did not get the hype around this. It looked spectacular. It glossed over a lot of the bullshit that Elvis did, like grooming Priscilla and a few other things. But the guy that played Elvis is fine, but just at 2 hours and 40 goddamn minutes, you got to be kidding me. I mean, you could tell Elvis's story a little bit better than this. And Baz Luhrmann has kind of proved that he's basically just a director on speed. And not even the good kind of speed. Speaking of speed, this movie could have used some speed. Mad God. It was a stop-motion labor of love that looked good and really wasn't overall that. It looked good. That's really about all I can say. Story-wise and everything else, it was just a series of visuals. And I'm sorry, it didn't click with me. It wasn't bad, but for the hype that it got, I didn't really care for it. Now we get onto the list. Number 10, Black Adam. Okay, look, Rock the Dwayne Johnson did fine. There were other people that did fine in this. You know what? The movie just ended up being okay. I mean, maybe it'll end up starring a franchise. I don't know, considering that the movie had almost a $200 million budget. I imagine that included production and advertising costs. And this movie's already going to be out on digital. I mean, that's saying something. It was out with a world of hype. I saw it in theaters, and again, not bad, but not necessarily a movie where I'm thinking, wow, this was definitely worth all the effort that they put into it and all the hype that was around Rock the Dwayne Johnson being Black Adam. Here's a cool anti-hero. I don't know. This just didn't click to me. The action scenes were generic and a lot of other stuff. And I mentioned this in my review, so go check that out. But now we get to number 9, VHS 99. Boy, this is disappointing. I gave it probably a better grade than I should have because there were a couple decent moments in it. In all honesty, I just... Honestly, the previous VHS movie that came out was actually a lot better. Not VHS Viral, but the other one that came out on Shudder. That at least was more of a return to form. This just felt churned out, and they're doing VHS 85, which ought to be interesting. Yeah, VHS 94, that's what I was thinking. I got the numbers mixed up in my head. That one wasn't that bad. This one just felt... It didn't have a pop to it. Like every single one of them, every single one of the tapes, particularly the one about the casket, I just don't think was all that great. The gravesite, the cemetery, the college prank, it wasn't that good and ended up just being sorely disappointing. I enjoyed a little bit of it, but every time I started enjoying it, I go, yeah, this isn't very good. Funny how the worst tape, I believe, is directed by the same guy that did Resident Evil Raccoon City. That explains it. So, number 8, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. I didn't have very high expectations for this, but I was like, okay, I love the cartoon. And maybe Disney did some good here. There were people that took me to task saying that I was too harsh on this movie, and I would like to take every opportunity right now to say I was right, because it's my opinion. I mean, that doesn't mean that you guys are wrong, but this movie was abysmal. It took every IP, everything that they had, and stomped it into the dirt, and even a few little neat Easter eggs, Ugly Sonic, and a few other things couldn't help the fact that this movie was really, really spectacularly bad. I mean, very, very bad. Like, the voices weren't good. The voice acting wasn't good. I don't understand why in the world they thought that this, the lowest common denominator of humor, was a good thing to put in Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, which, granted, as a cartoon was not necessarily high class, but also worked as a short form concept. This was like 4 episodes of a Human Centipede together with all the humor taken out. Now we go to number 7, Orphan First Kill. Spoiler alert, this is going to end up being on my worst movies of the year list, so you will hear that later in the year. And Orphan First Kill, look, I don't know why they felt the need to de-age the lead actress, why they felt the need to do that, even though she was great. She was, 11, 12 when the first one came out? That was 2009. She was born in 97. So now they're de-aging her, they're doing this. This is a waste of Julia Stiles. The twist absolutely made me laugh. The special effects were terrible. And I'm glad I watched this on Paramount Plus. Had I had to go to theaters to watch this, I probably would have said, oh, hell no, I'm leaving. I had to pause it several times. I was too busy laughing. Now, they embrace the violence a little bit, like in the beginning. And what's wrong with Esther? What we find out how Esther went wrong. No, here's how Esther went wrong. They decided to make this movie. And there are rumors, oh, we might do another one. Why? Why would you do another one? The first Orphan wasn't even necessarily the greatest technical achievement, but had good heart and had, a very good lead, a very creepy lead. And I think the young actress actually could do, some great things in Hollywood, horror, and otherwise. This was just a waste. This was a complete waste of everything and killed the backstory, the original stuff, all this stuff going on. They completely went back in on itself. They retconned it like they were the Brahms The Boy 2, which is also terrible. One of the last movies I saw before the pandemic hit. God damn it. Anyway, Orphan First Kill was shit. Number 6, Beast. Look, some people like Beast. That's fine. Idris Elba punches a lion. The problem is you have to get to that point, which is okay, but you also have to deal with the kids who just aren't very... I'm sorry, the kids just aren't very good. This movie relies on a lot of stupidity. I can see why it entertained people. It didn't entertain me. It was one of two Idris Elba movies released in August. I believe the other one was 3,000 Years of Longing, which as of this recording, I still have to watch. But I don't know, Beast just didn't click for me. I mean, In the Jungle, The Mighty Jungle, Idris Elba's screenplay Sleeps Tonight. I don't think he wrote it, but that would have been hilarious. And The Lion Sleeps Tonight, A Weem Away, A Weem Away. So yeah, we get to number 5, They, Them. You know, Blumhouse is starting to get on my shit list by doing bad stuff. Or Bloomhouse. Or Bloomin' Onion House, or whatever the fuck it is. Kevin Bacon, and believe it or not, the girl that was in My Girl, the girl that was the lead, was in this. I did not know that. I did not know that going into this. I was like, holy shit, that's where I recognize her from. The movie had a neat little concept about a gay conversion camp thing, and, you know, slasher taking place there. Okay, cool. The problem is that the movie ended up having a very obvious twist that you could see coming from a mile away, and ended up being so generic and badly shot and badly done and wasted Kevin Bacon. This was like 6 degrees of like separation from anything good. This was really, really terrible. And I'm glad it was just released on Peacock instead of in theaters. And I don't think I could have handled this. And that's going to be the norm, actually. There's going to be a lot of movies either released directly to streaming or streaming and in theaters, because I think theaters are probably going to be going away pretty soon. Because streaming services are just going to continue to pump money into movies like number 4, The Gray Man. $200 million for Ryan Gosling and Chris Evans and a few others to do things. Where'd the $200 million go? Did $100 million of it like go to, oh, I don't know, writing out apology letters to everybody that invested in this shit? They're going to do a sequel. They're going to do a sequel to the goddamn terrible... Gotta get angry every time I think about this movie. This will also be on my worst movies of the year list. In fact, quite a few of these will be, because this one was pretty goddamn terrible. Pretty goddamn terrible. My expectations were about here, because I'm like, okay, these two lead actors, you got something, let's see what they can do. And within the first 20 minutes, I'm like, they can't do shit. This is absolutely atrocious, and this cost $200 million. How? Why? You could have, A24 could have taken that $200 million and stretched it out over 2 goddamn years and made better movies. Watch A24's movies. Don't watch The Gray Man. The Gray Man's shit. Number 3, Bullet Train. Okay, Joey King needs to start starring in better shit. I know some people like this, and there were entertaining moments to it, but it also seemed to be pretentious and kind of in on its own ass and doing a lot of the same shit that that other movies have done, but better. It tried to be like Snatch on a Train, the comedy Snatch, not let's just move on from that. There were moments that popped, and then a lot of it just, I don't know, the fight scenes didn't really blend well for me, and it dragged on a long time. It was over 2 hours. It had no right to be over 2 hours. That was bullshit. Had this been a crisp 85 minutes, I might have been less harsh on it, but they had to cram a whole bunch of stuff in there. It looked cool. Technically, it looked cool. It just wasn't very goddamn good. And Brad Pitt, I mean, this was apparently the movie that Brad Pitt had Sandra Bullock on, and Sandra Bullock was able to get Brad Pitt to be part of The Lost City, or maybe it's vice versa. I forget exactly how the timeline goes, so that's cool. But this didn't work. Now we get to something else that didn't work. Number 2, Halloween Ends. This movie is dog shit. Absolute dog shit. The fact that they decided to go with a forced shoehorned in romance that actually, it set the record for turning a movie that could have meant something into something absolute shit. This was amazingly bad. And not even amazingly bad, like, holy shit, I'm laughing at this. There were parts that I laughed at. I laughed at the beginning, the thing with, the babysitter and the kid. The little shit deserved it, let me just say that right now. And other shit that happened, but between Laurie Strode's daughter and the stupid, whiny, poofy-haired character, and nothing against the actor, nothing against him. But god damn it, they made Michael Myers seem like he escaped the fire, and now all of a sudden, Father Time catches up with everybody, but now all of a sudden he's just living in the sewers, talking to Pennywise and Splinter, raising the Ninja Turtles. What was happening in this? Why did they do this? They tried to make it like Season of the Witch, taking it in a different direction, except with that happy, happy Halloween, 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 happy, happy Halloween, Silver Shamrock. I don't know why I sound like I'm on helium, but they decide they're inevitably going to reboot it. And hopefully, Jamie Lee Curtis will stay far away from it because A, I don't think they're going to reboot it at least for another decade. B, keep David Gordon Green and everybody involved away from this. Everybody that wrote it, everybody that directed it, everybody that shot it, everybody that produced it, get them all away. Get them all away. Start new. Get some actual talent behind the camera. Number 1, Don't Worry, Darling. How dare you, Olivia Wilde? How dare you waste Florence Pugh's talent? How dare you? You goddamn twat. How dare you? Also, Harry Styles having a goddamn conniption fit and having a stroke seemingly whenever he had to act, which was, boy, that was something. That was certainly something to see. Florence Pugh is great. I love Florence. She's spectacular. She's great in almost any role you give her. She's beautiful. She has that star quality. And I was really excited based on the concept. Unfortunately, I guessed the concept pretty much right, or I guessed the whole thing behind it right away. That's not the worst thing in the world. You can make something work if you do something like that. This didn't. This didn't work at all. And apparently it was trouble production. There were like issues with the writers and Olivia Wilde's vision and stuff like that. And it was like a really, really bad Twilight Zone episode if you took anything good about the Twilight Zone, even the worst episodes, and just replaced it with a bunch of bullshit. Don't Worry, Darling absolutely missed the mark and is one of the worst films of the year, but definitely the most disappointing. I was really looking forward to this. I could have flip-flopped these and this and Halloween Ends, but Halloween Kills end up disappointing me. Don't Worry, Darling didn't have something before it. Like, it looked maybe not like the most wholly original concept of, okay, this is cool, and why'd you waste Florence Pugh's talent, Olivia Wilde? Why'd you do that? You stupid twat. Anyway, agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.